and welcome viewers to the Daily Space Weather. I would remind everybody to please check out smashomash.com/smashteam. We're putting up all kinds of free and publicly visible information, even for unpaid subscribers. So smashomash.com/smashteam. Check it out. We've got an M-class flare. Peak flux was around 7:20 Universal Time today on December 5th. We'll show more data on that. We do have a new Sunspot group here. I believe it's 2903 is going to be the name of this one. There it is in composite imagery from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. It is a beta class sunspot. We still do have some possibility of solar flares here as a result of that sunspot group. So the M-class flare came from a group that's already set in the southwest. This is 2903 in its progression in the southeast. And we've also got a colorized magnetogram for you. There also is a sunspot up here. It's only an alpha class sunspot. We'll get to it momentarily. First, the radio flux. It's at 88 solar flux units now. There's the one-year chart. The black line is the 10.7 centimeter radio output of the closest star. There's the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. We're not seeing any forecast for geomagnetic unrest here. For some reason, I guess NOAA must think that the coronal hole wind stream is going to miss the Earth. I would tend to disagree with this, as we are expecting a high-speed coronal hole wind stream sometime today, actually, or perhaps early tomorrow on the 6th. Not sure why it's not reflected in the NOAA forecast. Let's move on to look at global seismicity. No major quakes in the past 24 hours. There was a 6.0 at Indonesia, though. We'll get to that in a minute. South Sandwich Islands saw the second largest quake. That was a 5.7 there near the Antarctican plate boundary in the South Atlantic. So the largest quake of the past 24 was at depth. This one 174 kilometers. That would be about a 6.8 if that happened at the surface, according to my back-of-the-napkin mental math there. A 6.0 magnitude quake there at 174 kilometers. That came in just before midnight Universal Time at 23:47 last night. A 5.1 on the Aleutian Islands, as well as a 5.4 near Japan. So most of the major activity there around the north and west Pacific, rather. Also a 5.0 at Japan. Some quakes at Hawaii, as blizzard warnings are showing up. Check out our meteorology segment if you haven't seen that. And we're just scrolling up the list here, Papua New Guinea saw a 5.0 as well. And there's a location of that one north of Australia. Let's move on to volcanoes. Semeru has erupted in spectacular fashion. Let's start from the top. La Palma continues to explode, probably producing new real estate still with lava flows. It's a 7,000-foot ash plume from La Palma. Suwanosejima, flight level 090, 9,000-foot ash plume over the Ryukyu Islands from Suwanosejima. Semeru, flight level 150 to 500, a 50,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. That is awfully close to the stratospheric boundary, folks. Major volcanic eruption there at Semeru on the Indonesian Isle of East Java. Pavlov in the Aleutian Islands, actually on the Alaskan Peninsula, rather. Also exploding, 10,000-foot ash plume from Pavlov. Fuego, 15,000-foot ash plume over Guatemala from Fuego. Nevado del Ruiz exploding, 22,000-foot ash plume over Colombia. Please don't square dance about the caldera. Sangay exploding, 20,000-foot ash plume from Sangay. Please do not build a campsite at the foothills of the mountain. Pyroclastic flows are unhealthful for humans. Revenador exploding, 15,000-foot ash plume from Revenador. That's located in the nation of Ecuador. Intermittent strong puff emissions from Sabancaya. No indication of the flight level at Sabancaya. That's in Peru, Nevado State, Chilean. Sporadic emissions and explosions have produced a 12,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Please don't pull off the caldera. Please do visit our links. Please do support the channel. And please do use the promo code FINISHLINE to save 25% through December 7th. Today's featured product is Mensa. And I'm currently wearing the Mensa hat. It stands for Make Earth Not Suck Again. And thanks for leaving a comment, Brown Eye 91. Good morning to you as well. Here are some more items we have to offer. You can find links below the video to this, as well as at our homepage at smashamash.com. Universum Liberate is what I have to say, while in the process of making Earth not suck again by creating videos like this one. Increase the probability they'll continue to exist by becoming a member of the Smash team. We'll give you a small tidbit on that if you want to go to the Redbubble shop. Again, don't forget to use the promo code FINISHLINE to save 25%. Click on SMASHO merch from our homepage. That'll take you to the Redbubble shop. And here's a teaser of this morning's postings at smashamash.com/smashteam. We're going to show you just enough. The headlines are, crypto gets hit past month. Google, do be evil. Let's get to magnetic data. And here's the GOES magnetometers over the past 3 days. Earth remains in a North Pole current sheet. Actually, Earth snapping across into a South Pole current sheet. So this is an indication that Sunspot 2903 is going to be a dud. I'll get to more of that in a minute. Earth having just snapped into a South Pole current sheet. So we may see some additional sawtooth type patterns here. Also, there's a coronal hole wind stream on the way. I'm convinced of it. And here's the line of sight view. And you're going to see the blue line swinging down there and then swinging back up. There's the latest image. South Pole current sheet. Earth is apparently in one now. Next, the line of sight coronal hole plot. And you can see some both North and South Pole oriented coronal hole systems here in the east. North Pole shown in green, South Pole shown in red. As cycle 25 progresses in a rather slow fashion. Here's a visual of coronal holes. This is 193 angstroms from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. And we are expecting a wind stream from this coronal hole right here today and or tomorrow. I would expect it to last a while too. All right, and let's move on here to our solar flare probability and detected sunspot groups. Again, this group down here is going to be known as 2903, sunspot 2903 here. And if I had to guess, which I don't, I'd expect it to degrade as a result of the magnetism we showed you a few frames ago. Likelihood of large solar flares has gone down. We did raise the possibility of an M-class flare yesterday, and we did indeed see one. Again, peak flux there right around 7:20 universal time. There was a coronal mass ejection. It does not appear to be Earth-facing rather. And we didn't see any relativistic particles showing up from that M-class flare just a few hours ago. So perhaps some shall arrive here, although not at the moment. Let's look at the real-time solar wind next. No intensifications over the past few hours. A small uptick in the speed here. I would say we can expect a big uptick in the density, signaling the onset of the latest coronal hole high-speed wind stream. Current conditions are just over 9 protons per cubic centimeter for the solar wind density, solar wind speed 464 kilometers per second. Fairly nominal there. Geomagnetism is calm at 1 for the KP index, a KP of 1. Geomagnetic calm. Here's the magnetohydrodynamic pressure modeled by the Space Weather Modeling Framework over the past 4 hours. It's Earth's magnetic moment from space. we're going to show you ground magnetic perturbations next. No big changes here in Earth's magnetic moment from space. Let's just bring that forward to where it was. That's 4 hours of data. Fairly unremarkable here. And here are ground magnetic perturbations, changes to Earth's B field at the surface level. The scale here is magnetic flux density nanotesla, not magnetohydrodynamic pressure. And we can expect a big uptick in this when the coronal hole wind stream arrives. We'll move that forward as well. It's fairly unremarkable. And let me just check on the stream briefly here. This video was originally streamed live to Twitch, twitch.tv/smAshomash. And good morning to Tinman1057. Thanks for leaving a comment. Next, a solar system forecast. We're going to advance this 7 days. There's where things are now. There's where things will be on 12/12, a gibbous waxing, as Mercury swings around. And we've also got a star chart for you here. This is in the-sky.org if you're wondering, if you want to make your own star chart. We've got Mars and the Sun and Mercury in the southeastern sky here in Pennsylvania. We're located in Lehigh Valley if you're wondering. If you're new to the channel, congratulations on realizing we exist. And let's take a look at Lagrange point 1, as there was some coronal mass ejection associated with that M-class flare. So there you can just see it peeking out here from behind the LASCO C2 in the last frame there. Yesterday's coronal mass ejection was still propagating at that point. And maybe we'll make another video later today when we have a little more data on that. And let's do a brief cosmology segment. Today's random number is 10, which is a gamma ray source. It's the 10th entry at the Neil Gehrels Swift Bat X-ray Observatory transients page. It's also an X-ray source. And there you can see over the past 16 years and the past 30 days, it's pretty consistent. It's a pretty weak X-ray source, and you're not going to find much visual of this. It's in a very busy part of space. That's a gamma ray survey. And you won't find many spectral points to this. If you want to read more about it, just head to the Neil Gehrels Swift Bat X-ray Observatory, click SIMBAD, and click the CDS portal. It'll take you to this page. Again, it's a very busy portion of space here. Let me just show you the optical wavelengths. And there you can see how many stars are in that area there on pan-stars, but if you zoom in, it's quite dark at that location. Again, that's the, quote, random, end quote, object, a gamma ray source, 2CG 121 plus 04. And you can find articles here as well. This one is linked from the CDS portal. The last article linked here is from 2003. It's this one, titled High Energy Sources Before Integral Reference Catalog. So perhaps check that out if you like. Again, you can find that. It's entry number 10 at the Neil Gehrels Swift Bat X-ray Observatory. And here's the total solar eclipse, which features the outer solar corona. And what you're seeing here is planes flying over the Southern Ocean to get imagery of the recent total solar eclipse. apod.nasa.gov if you want to check it out yourself. apod.nasa.gov. Probably a more comfortable place to view the eclipse than on the continent of Antarctica, although it is approaching summertime as the solstice grows nearer. That's today's Cosmology segment. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Perhaps realize that the playlists exist, as we've got a playlist for Cosmology segments. If you're wondering what cosmology is, it's the study of the origin and structure of the universe as a whole. Next, charging hazards and the electron flux and the ionosphere. No charging hazards at the moment. Here's the 1-year chart of the electron flux. We're just at nominal levels here. And we may be moving back into warning territory getting close to the warning line here, which is 1,000 particles per negative square centimeter. And you can see the relativistic forecast here. We should be flirting with warning levels here. We've got pretty organized electron belts at the moment. Let's take a look at it visually speaking. Here's your total electron content forecast, essentially the electrons of the inner Van Allen belt. And we like to show this because we like to tie the data to reality. And this will show you where GPS errors are most likely to occur. So we're going to let it play through a second time here. No major anomalies, but we do see some over the North American continent. Most GPS errors tend to occur around the equator at noontime. Next, the ionosphere. We're going to show you the F flare both in vibrational frequency and in anomaly grams. So here's the vibrational frequency, courtesy of Australian Government Bureau Meteorology. And we're certainly seeing some low-frequency anomalies in the northern hemisphere there as the solstice approaches. And let's check out the anomalygram as well. Here's the anomalygram departure in megahertz from the 30-day median. And here's the latest image. So that's 1330 universal time. On the ionogram showing you vibrational frequency in megahertz. And here is the anomalygram showing you anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. Also at 1330. Now it's time for bonus features. Let's blast through them. Also, don't forget to check our meteorology segments if you haven't checked those out. There's a playlist for it. And let's do it. So our first bonus feature here will be the El Teide ground-based solar observatory located in El Teide, Spain. Again, I would expect Sunspot 2903 to degrade. It's going to get a name today, but it's also going to degrade. This one's already degraded to an alpha class. Next, the NASA GOES 16 SUVI latest imagery. And there is another coronal mass ejection propagating as we make the video. Check it out right down here. If I had to guess which I would expect it would miss the Earth to the south, but it's way too early to tell, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And when I say ion, pardon the pun. That's 304 angstroms, which is an ion. A helium ion. Helium which has been stripped of its electrons. 304 angstroms from the GOES 16 SUVI. Next, the latest intensitygram and latest colorized magnetogram. There's Sunspot 2903. It's degraded since we did show prep. And that's how good the magnetic data is at forecasting. That sunspot's still alpha class. Likelihood of major flares has gone down with the degradation of these areas. There are the fields. It is still beta class. The umbrae have shrunk. That's alpha class, unlikely to produce major flares. Here's 2903 in 171 angstroms. Looking pretty weak. And here's your full disk view, which will include that M-class flare. And thanks for tuning into the Daily Space Weather. May that solar wind be at your back.